know, that's kind of detailed. That would have been nice to have known at the beginning, but you know, this is an Ace Attorney video game. But what about
Let me show you the updated autopsy report. How many chalices do you have?
A lot.
I need to know. Is this like the infinite fish and chips?
Fish and chips?
Fish
Wow.
and chips. Is this like the infinite fish and chips?
Sure.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So,
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going around, sir. Sure.
Yep. Historically, Great Britain is known for tolerance. Yes.
Man. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the fourth case. We are about to start a second summation examination because apparently there's no limit to how many times you can do this. So, yeah, we got a
Break
guilty
the
verdict to turn
system.
around. Yep. You're not suggesting.
The defense has the right to another summation examination at this point.
Break the system, Renosuke.
You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance.
Okay, I guess you can do it 2 times based on that statement.
I guess. My lord, the defense asked to exercise its right to a summation examination.
You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve?
I don't intend to trick anybody.
I do not believe you. I am so tired of this.
I intend to uncover the truth. There is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined.
I'm gonna go get myself a drink. I'll be right back.
You already have one in your hands.
I'm getting another one. I need bigger bottle. I need more. I can't deal with this. I need more alcohol
we were
for this.
like several dialogues away from that to be continued.
It's fine.
Anyway, I'm back.
Did you get booze for the entire courtroom?
No, just for me. I'm gonna need all of this.
Okay, well then you have to leave. You didn't share it with everybody else.
No.
I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
So are we just gonna ignore the
Please be
fact
less
that we
racist.
kind of figured out that one of the jurors is like very impartial and probably should not be on the jury?
Right? The jurors' contentions.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was a novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Even if the woman was was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime of the window if the window was closed, can it? It was only one little book, hardly life-threatening, even if it was a direct hit.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Just the sneezes?
Sneezes.
Just the
Smoke
sneezes.
gives me the sneezes.
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems.
Are you sure?
With one notable exception, of course.
Alright, that's fair. My learned student friend was unable to find a fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene of... No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime.
The witnesses were there.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
Are you telling me that Rolly self-reported? Is he the imposter?
He ejected
Among
out of
Us?
him now.
That means, I'm afraid, that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts.
But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here?
If
Is
someone
that
says,
obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those two details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
And here I was, thinking this might be hard.
Sanahodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really weirdly will try legs.
Ugh,
The dog agrees. The dog agrees.
no pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please.
I'm sorry, the dogs are cute though.
Thank you. Sorry.
They are very adorable. I presume you are prepared, Counsel.
Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Man, I can't make some Danganronpa jokes.
In the words of Kazuma. Don't
Hold
fuck up.
it!
Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Geradev.
Drag her!
The book that disappeared from the candidate's house on the evening of the incidents. And the fourth book found in the victim's hands.
There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Am I pressing everyone? Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far. Whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Gardner and how she reacts. Even to the things other people say.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right, that's a system. I forgot about that.
Yeah, am I pressing everyone then?
Patricia and Rolly like, and we're here too.
Anyway, am I pressing everyone, yes? No?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hold it!
But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3.
Well, what difference does it make?
There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord.
Yes, that's the part I have a problem with.
Sorry?
Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said.
That's not exactly how I put it, no.
Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened.
Huh.
See? That's what you call a strong alibi.
So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it?
I suppose it is, since I've nothing witty left to say.
I hate to say that his logic is very sound, actually.
Yeah.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change the decision, you mean?
Oh my! Such a delight on your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion.
You were before, ma'am.
Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman.
That's great.
If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So I read them in the first place.
Oh.
You see? Modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say?
I think that's called just ignoring things.
And not at all extreme.
I see it. An overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say?
No, actually, but sure. Overwhelmingly.
Us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know.
So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one.
I'd be happy to do that too. If only I could.
You are very best judge at this point, the modern and metropolitan young lady.
Right. I'm glad you admitted rational there.
Honestly, same.
Hold it!
But what about the possibility that the window was open?
What's about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been.
Sir, there was a fire. How can you be so sure?
Skinny fellow over there said that earlier, didn't he? This in London are no joke. You don't want to invite the sort of cold indoors. So, no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, you see.
But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you?
It just wasn't. I wouldn't have opened it.
Then what's the point in even having windows, huh? What is this argument?
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise.
Was
Ma'am?
the window open? No. But what if it was? No. But what? No.
What's the point of windows? But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
It's late. I'll have you know.
Uh-huh.
No, literal flames. Shut up.
There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb.
He brought about it himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fire in love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett.
I like how she slaps juror number 5 every single time. Like, why are you doing that? Don't even do that. That's rude.
Never you mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute. Nothing more.
Javio.
Stop slapping him.
So to get the juror 5 and be like, you okay, sir?
I don't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime.
Right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrett's relentless onslaughts.
So he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is.
I know.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely it. He does talk about his wife threatening him. You just want to get this over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future's at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already. I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It was too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Damn, what? Helpful.
If Mr. Beats will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf.
Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. That's really dark. Dang. There must be some way to jog his memory about this.
Hold it!
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what was that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
What? Oh, the fire, yes. It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It has 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
How did you fit all those candles?
Easily.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems that it's a common custom here in the Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room.
That's impressive.
Furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me.
Bro, it's just cake. Calm down.
And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire?
Fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
The windows.
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did.
The devil worship.
I got a terrible cold from it. It put me in the hospital for a while. I will forget that Christmas in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. Okay, well, it looks...
I like that you said Christmas, so we can imply that that is definitely Santa Claus and Santa Claus' grandchildren giving him birthday.
We need to demonstrate who, Puff Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the streets. As well as how he, or she, could have done it.
Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary.
I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation.
Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions. Just a connection might do the trick.
Well, 6 and 3.
Yep. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike.
Spirit?
Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Hello, sir. You and you.
Objection.
These two juror statements clearly contradict one another.
I don't know if they contradict one another, they just have something in common, which we've just established, but okay.
They do. How exactly, Counsel?
Well, no, they do contradict each other, because, like, Juror 3 said that who would open a window during winter, remember?
Oh, okay.
Don't point me again. Point to me again. I told you it wasn't me.
What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up!
Juror number 3, do you see?
What?
Well, I think he was talking to me, sir.
What?
We'll ignore that for now. See what, sir? You pointed at me, and I see that.
Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter.
Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency.
Sir, do you hear yourself talk?
I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the...
We finally got there.
Oh.
Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrettov household, and Mr. Garrettov had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
My hat!
Oh, hello? Hello?
Ma'am?
Excuse me.
She's hitting the booze early.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Damn, she's going that tea.
Chug!
If this was, look,
She's in there.
if there was a tea drinking contest, she would win. Mrs. Garrettov,
dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I truly am?
You're doing that yourself, ma'am. It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
That's it.
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
I beg your pardon? Just what are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if we did?
Oh my god.
Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window. Can't have been easy, since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house was on fire?
You never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Of course. I should have realized.
Significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish the window is open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Ganadim's formal statements.
Well then, let's press it then.
Now that you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true.
The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garrett told us he had been reading.
Ridiculous.
Said that so fast, Discord didn't even pick it up. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading?
I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it right at him. Did you come to mention it? Yes.
Can I? Oh, okay, that's the button. Thank you.
I was rather enjoying reading it. You're right.
Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset?
Because I couldn't do instant little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as you well know.
I really don't.
Oh boy.
It barely knows how he's throwing a book, much less the title of it.
Oh no.
Excuse me.
A core memory has been unlocked.
What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out. It was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back.
What are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Ganadip, the maid, I'll have you know.
Oh, okay, now you're confirming you're Mrs. Garrett. Okay. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time.
Oh dear.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died.
We are unlocking some trauma here.
I just noticed the old man over here with his hand up, listening.
Yes, please do go on. This is an interesting gossip.
Oh, now you're listening.
Oh, I'm very much listening.
There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh, shit.
I mean, he is Santa. He's listening to see who is naughty and who is nice.
Oh, dear. What a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep.
An inch?
No words, just terror. I could smell it then, you know? That god-awful stench of the times. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night. I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
He threw the knife, and it was an inch deep into the wall.
So basically, you just saw the handle at that point.
That would have cut his head clean off.
I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchet, hammers, you name it.
Oh no.
Naruto.
Oh no.
I think the pieces are coming together.
Oh no.
I am dense and I do not understand where the pieces are coming together. I'm just here to read lines.
I'm gonna give you a hypothetical. What if Mrs. Garrideb threw a knife?
Oh.
I'm having the Kronk moment where I'm like, oh yeah, the pieces are coming together.
Wasn't there a missing knife on the table?
Was there? I don't remember.
I don't know.
There was a lot of things missing, to be fair.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember that part as clearly.
We'll get
so.
there when we get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's stop this sexist train of thought with...
Mr. Naruto, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined.
No, I wasn't thinking that.
Throwing household objects at people is... well, it's so uncivilized.
Yeah, it's better to just throw them over your shoulder. That's the
And
good
these
way.
attack of honor, like using a bow or the like.
What? Attack? Where are you going to attack?
Probably you.
So take down! Oh, never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later. If I dare.
I'm in the archery club, Naruto.
A woman in a rag.
Do we need...
What?
So do we need to repress the other statements?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes, if you want to, but no, I can
But
move.
mostly because they never finished, we just kept interrupting them with other people who had things. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Actually, if there was a need to press them again, I'll just tell you. I'm just not telling you because we don't need to do that, and that would take a long time. That's more or less the case of, you do that in your own time, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
A woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me. So, which way? Can I go this way? Something tells me we should pit this. There's an alternative.
Well,
Alright.
Yeah, this is the alternative.
alright.
These two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative?
My, whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garrideb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrideb household to the street below. Eh? What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garrideb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4?
I would say writing now, you little beanpole.
Beanpole?
What?
Beanpole?
Sure, we'll go with that being an
Really tried for that one, didn't you?
I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Eastern
Oh.
what?
Gala? Gala?
Now you listen. Now you listen here, Yeast and Gala. As foreman of the jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house. What? What was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrett household to the scene of the crime was... What?
Is that Switchblade the knife?
Yeah. This was the knife that was found on the victim's back, so...
Okay.
Alright.
Told you it wasn't my knife.
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett.
What? What now?
I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Of course, I'm picking up anything.
I'm sorry, I need a moment to recover, because what the F was that? Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man.
Rubble.
It was lodged into his Pac-Man. Okay.
My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the wall. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that the book was found in the victim's grasp.
Saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in her hands?
Huh? Even my missus hasn't got an aim like that. Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand, but that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
Why?
Mrs. Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? She didn't need to answer. I guess she could just say yes. Yeah.
I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but... I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman. I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind.
When I was doing her stream, my dogs came over to me like, "Are you having a stroke? Are you okay?"
Yes, you know what? Not quite happy about this violence either.
What good puppies, though. Bino?
All together now, ladies and gents.
I like how the old man still hasn't... Okay. He probably didn't hear any of that. He probably didn't even hear her scream. We did it.
Congratulations, Miss Naruto. The dogs are happy for you too.
So, as a result of the defendant's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty, against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue.
Wobble.
Is it time? Is it time for an object? Oh, it's not. Okay. I was waiting for Baroque to just object.
Yeah, me too. I was like, brace yourselves.
Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
By that first.
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
Oh, he actually drank it that time.
Gonna need some alcohol for this one. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting. You must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time?
It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garadeb household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garadeb's house to the scene is some, 15 yards.
Let me see. 15 yards. That's about 14 meters.
14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagine.
I mean, we walked in this Naruhodo.
As you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? No, don't be shy now. And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
So that means you actually read those books then.
This is by far the worst fanfic I've ever read. Ah, but you've read it.
Yeah, right, but you read it, right? There's nothing I can say to that.
And that prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice.
I do,
Mrs.
thank
Sato.
Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he?
Let's see, so that's your button, huh? Alright.
Maybe let's pick our battles here.
My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
Judicial Assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead.
Execution may consider the idea of a fantasy. But what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. As such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, jury number 4, Mrs. John Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
Alright then, I think we can stop there now. We're gonna see if we can get Mrs. Garrett down to actually testify in the next video.
Naruhodo sounds like he's gonna have a lovely time with it.
We're gonna have a great time with it. We'll see
It'll
you
be
all then.
great. It'll be great.